Hello guys, welcome back to Watch Addiction Watch Reviews. Today we're taking a look at a brand called NOVE, a brand we've looked at on the channel before, but this is a Swiss-made automatic model that they produce with a very interesting movement that I've never experienced before. And let's get a little into it. So the box it comes in is the typical NOVE zip-up leather pouch. It does come with a nice polishing cloth and your warranty information, as you can see. Now getting a little more into this watch, as you can see, it's a very interesting design. A very interesting design. I've never seen something like this before. It's not a homage watch. It's definitely a nice design of their own, which is always a good thing in the smaller brand world. Now this watch is a Swiss-made watch, so it has to be at least, I believe, 50 or 60% Swiss-made for that to be done, which is pretty cool. It is priced at $670 US. I will drop a link to their website in the description below. Now this watch is crafted of solid 316L stainless steel. It does have some brushed finishes and some polished finishes as well. A very interesting case. Look at the side of this case profile. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of like a case that's hollowed out with a case inside of it with screwed on lug guards, which are crown guards, I should say, which is pretty cool. You don't really see stuff like this that often. So I thought this was quite interesting. It kind of looks like something that you would see in the future. Just a very interesting design in my opinion here. Anyway, this watch is 44 millimeters in terms of diameter, but don't be too scared because it's only 44 millimeters lug to lug. So it really doesn't wear that big on the wrist, which was nice to see. The watch itself is 12.5 millimeters thick, which is pretty nice for a watch with a Swiss automatic caliber inside of it. In terms of lug width here, you're looking at 24 millimeters. However, I don't think you'll be changing out the bracelet unless you really want to put it on a rubber strap, because the bracelet's actually really nice. It kind of reminds me of something like a Nautilus bracelet, and we'll get more into the bracelet. Let's take a look at the dial first. So getting a little closer in on the dial here, you can see we have applied Swiss-made at the 6 o'clock position. You have those nice stripes going across the dial, which is pretty cool, with the NOVE N logo at the 12. Little circular dots, which are applied for the hour markers, no minute markers on this one. Just very interesting. You have sword hands filled with lume, a straight sweeping seconds hand. You have a fixed bezel here with little cutouts over here, as you can see, which will help with timing if you wanted it to. As you can see, that's in the middle, like 2.5 minutes there if you really wanted to. The watch does have a sapphire crystal, of course, at this price point. It is a double curved sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating on the underside. Very good legibility on this watch, I must say. And yeah, the bracelet itself is 24 millimeters, tapers down to 22 towards the end with a really cool clasp, which I'll show you right now. So let's get into the bracelet. We'll talk a little bit more about the movement and these cool screwed-on guards here, which is pretty cool. And we'll talk about the R150 movement, a movement you've probably never heard of before, even though it's a very good movement. So taking a look at this bracelet, you can see you have highly polished center portions, and then you have brushing, and you have the N logo, which comes together here to form the N with a nice butterfly clasp. You can see it's very nice. This part is very nice. Everything is very secure and fits perfectly together. Very easy to function there. A little glimpse, little sneak peek of the movement there, which we'll take a look at in a second. As you can see, the bracelet is very nicely finished. Just as well finished as the case, I must say. It is held in by screws. As you can see here, yep, it is held in by screws. It is pretty flexible, but it is meant to conform to your wrist, as you can see there, considering the shape of the actual case. So it will conform nicely to the wrist, and it will plant itself on the wrist just perfectly. If you really want to, you can unscrew these here and throw it on a different strap if you wanted to. So there's no issue with that. The watch also is 200 meters water resistant. I wouldn't call it a dive watch. I'd call it an everyday watch, but it does have a screw down crown, which is knurled very nicely and signed with the N logo, as you can see there. Screw down case back as well. So you can take this thing in the water, no issue with that whatsoever. But the bracelet is very well made. I think they did a pretty good job on it. It's an interesting design. Like I said, it kind of looks like the Nautilus a little bit, but not really. I'm not 100% sure about that. But very nice butterfly clasp here, no issues with that at all. And I really like how the N comes together. I think it looks pretty cool. So anyway, let's take a look at the actual movement. As you can see, inside of this bad boy is the Ronda R150 automatic caliber. A very interesting movement because this movement's not used very widely in the industry. It is a bit cheaper than the ETA 2824, I must say. But it is produced by Ronda, the same company that makes the Ronda Swiss quartz movements. Now this movement has a 40-hour power reserve, beats at 4 Hertz, 28,800 beats per hour. And it also does have it does have hacking, it does have hand winding, of course, and yeah, it does have a quick set date as well. As you can see, we have a date over here at the 3 o'clock position. It's very well finished, nice large rotor there, as you can see. Pretty reliable, this one gaining about 6 or 7 seconds a day. I think it's just something different. You don't really see this movement a lot. Obviously, it can be comparable to the SW200 and ETA 2824. I think it's a very nice looking movement. You do have a sapphire case back here showing it off with a custom NOVE rotor. You have some specifications, Swiss made Modena automatic, and 200 meters as well. I think it's a pretty cool movement. It feels very nice. It's very smooth when you wind it. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the crown here. Okay. It's very smooth, I must say. It is a bit smoother than the ETA 2824. Very positive. Very nice. Yeah, so that's interesting. Go ahead and you have a quick set date. And then you have hacking. You can change the time here. And then you can screw that back down. So everything functions as it should very nicely. No issues there, which is pretty cool. Now this kind of grayish dial is interesting. It kind of has different tones. As you can see where the horizontal cutouts are, it's a different tone than the actual top surface of the dial, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I think it looks really interesting. Very cool crown guards held on by 2 screws here, as you can see. 1, 2, and 1, 2 on each side. Just a very, very interesting watch. Something you're not going to see on anyone's wrist, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. There is some lume on the hands. As you can see, they planted their logo over here again on the actual case, where you'd put like something like a helium escape valve. They put an N here, which is pretty cool. But very interesting case design. Let me throw it on my 6.5 inch wrist, show you exactly what she looks like. On my 6.5 inch wrist, as you can see with that 44 lug to lug, it fits perfectly across, even though it wears bigger. As you can see here, the bracelet conforms very, very nicely to my wrist. So there's no issues with the bracelet, how it doesn't like fold over, you know, fold on the back side of the watch or anything like that. But I think it fits just fine. So furthermore, guys, I think, you know, it's quite an interesting offering from a brand. You know, this brand is maybe not as well known as some of the big Swiss brands, but I think it's a pretty cool brand. I believe they did make the thinnest actual dive watch that is available on the market. If you can check on their website, I did review that. You can check back in my log. But yeah, it's an interesting brand. They're doing some new interesting designs. They're trying some new things, testing the waters of the market. I think it's a very well constructed watch. You have a nice solid bracelet here, which is really of high quality. You get that cool Ronda R150 movement, which I'd like to see more brands start using instead of SW200s and ETA 2824s. I think it's a great movement. It runs great in this watch, and I'm sure it would run great in a bunch of different dive watches. So it's something I'd like to see, you know, used more widely in the market. Anyway, there were no quality control issues on my end. Everything is running great. Everything functions great on this watch. So no issues there. There are no sharp edges or anything like that. No quality control issues. That's always good to see from a smaller company. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, as usual, of the NOVE Modena, their new model. They have a couple new models, actually, if you check on their website, which look pretty interesting. So anyway, definitely throw the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, guys. And yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this watch. I will see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in once again. Bye.